Hey guys, it's Brittany. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about another breast pump. We're going to be doing a review on the Spectra S2. So in my review, I'm going to go over what you get in the box, how much it costs, the features, how to use it, and then last but not least, pros and cons. So let's get started. So with the Spectra S2, what you get in the box, of course, is the pump. You get the tubing, you get the backstop connectors, which is these little things at the end of the tubing. Of course, you get the charger. The S2, unlike the S1, has to be plugged in at all times. You're also going to get flanges, which is this part. The Spectra S2, when you get it, it comes with two different sizes. So it comes with the 24 millimeter and the 28. I have the 24, that's typically common for most women, but it does come with both. You also get the duckbill, the bottle, and you get two of these. So there's like a little nipple in case you want to just feed your child out of that. You can just screw it on top. And it also comes with this part. So if you wanted to turn it into storage, it does. This comes out, of course, so your little one can get it. And of course, you're going to get two of these, one for each boob. So that's what comes in the box. Now I'm going to talk about how much it costs. So the Spectra S2 costs about $159. That is very typical of pricing of most pumps. Most pumps are around the 150, I would say the 200 range on the high end. So it's typical. This pump is also usually covered with insurance. So if you have an insurance provider and you're going through like an Edge Park or an Aeroflow, this pump will be one of the ones that should have a free option. Of course, it's going to depend on your insurance, but because it's a pretty standard pump with standard features, there are not a lot of extra bells and whistles like it being portable or not having to be charged. It should be one of the ones that are free. So next we're going to talk about the features of the pump. So the S2 weighs about 2.5 pounds. So it's not too light, not too heavy. It does come with a light on it. So that has two settings. So if you're pumping in the middle of the night, there is that nice feature that the handle does light up. It also comes with a suction of up to 270 millimeters of mercury, I think it's called mmHg. There is a timer feature for the pump. So when you start the pump up, and I'll do it so you can see, the time starts counting. And so what this does is the pump will count up to 30 minutes of pump time, and after that, it will automatically shut off. Which brings me to my next feature. When the pump shuts off, it does have a memory feature. So what that means is whatever setting you've set it to. So if you've set the suction up to 3 or 4, when you turn it back on, it's going to be at that same suction level. So that is its memory feature. The next thing is that the pump does allow you to single pump. So you can unattach one of these, and then there's this little thing down here to attach it back if you want to just pump on one side. So that's a cool feature. It comes in with stimulation and expression modes, which all pumps do. The stimulation mode has a suction levels up to 5, so you can go from 1 to 5. Expression level, you can adjust the suction from 1 to 12. 12 will get you the high suction, that 270 mmHg. Everything else will be a little bit lower than that. There's also the ability to control the cycle time, and we'll talk about that, but there are these buttons right here that allow you to control the cycle time. And what cycle time is, how often the suction is going to suck. And the last feature of the pump is that it is a closed system. So closed system is really a marketing term. No pumps are really closed system. But that does mean that there is that protector between your milk and the pump. So now I'm going to go through how to use the pump. So of course you want it to be plugged in. You want your tubing attached with your backstop connector, and then you're going to connect it to your flange. Of course there will be a bottle here. I just don't have one right now. So when you turn on your pump, there is this little wave button, and that's the button that switches it in and out of stimulation mode. So it's in stimulation mode right now. If you can hear it, it says 70, and you can also see that little wave. So in stimulation mode, like I mentioned, the highest level is 5, and it goes all the way down to, of course, 1. So when you start off using the pump, you want it in stimulation mode. That fast suction back and forth, or that fast suction back and forth, is what is going to trigger your breasts to have a letdown or to express milk. Once you have your letdown, which means milk is flowing, then you can switch it to expression mode. And in expression mode, you have a choice of different cycle times. So if you can see, there's like a 38 cycle time, which is the lowest, 42, 46, 50, and 54. So what cycle time is, it is how often the pump is going to suck. So whether your pump goes suck, 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 or suck, 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 that is what cycle time is. So the Spectra does allow you to adjust that. Typically when you're using the pump, as you adjust the settings up, so you want to start off low and then go high. So in stimulation mode, you're going to start off low, work your way up and go high for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then once you start flowing, you're going to switch over to expression mode. When you switch over to expression mode, you might be at a higher cycle time, so 54, and a lower vacuum, like around like 5 or 6. And then as you turn your cycle time down, you're gonna wanna turn your suction up. So as you get used to the pump, your milk starts flowing, you're gonna turn the suction up. And then once you feel like, hey, I'm not expressing any milk, I'm kind of done here, you can switch it back to stimulation mode so that you can try to trigger another letdown or more milk to come out. I personally don't have to do that. I can stay in expression mode and I will have another letdown, but there is that option to switch it back. So the settings just depend on you. Earlier in my journey, I couldn't go past like a 6 or a 7 in terms of suction. Now I can turn it all the way up and I'm like, wait, like, come on. So as far as how high you go, it's really a matter of comfort. It shouldn't be painful. But yeah, that is how you use the pump. Most pumps do the cycle time automatically, but as I mentioned, this is a feature that's pretty unique to the Spectra. All right, guys, so now we're gonna talk about pros and cons. So on the pro side, one of the things that I really like about this is it's low noise. So I'm gonna be quiet so you can hear it. So when compared to most pumps, that's not that loud at all. It has kind of like a vibration, like a low noise. So this is what I take with me to work. This pump sits with me at work in the pump room. So if I'm on conference calls, it's not like a loud in the background. It's just, you know, the low rumble. So that is pretty good about this pump. The next thing is that it has a timer and a light on it. So I love pumps that have timers on them because I tend to forget how long I'm pumping. If you're using like a hands-free bra or something like that, and you're doing other stuff, time just flies. So a lot of times I'm like, how long have I been pumping for? So I love the timer feature on this. It's super helpful. The light is super helpful when I'm in the car traveling at night, so I can see what I'm doing. So I do like that. The next thing is it does get pretty good suction. So it's not the highest suction of a pump I've used, but this one is really good. A lot of women love it. So if suction is something you're worried about, or like, hey, how's my output gonna be? I would say that this is a pretty standard, really good pump. The other pro is that it's customizable. So as I mentioned, a lot of pumps don't allow you to control the cycle time. So cycle time is how often the pump suction. So what most pumps do, it's an inverse relationship if you think about it. Most pumps have a cycle time, you just don't get to control it. So as you turn the suction up in a pump or make it stronger, the cycle time drops down lower. So that's how most pumps operate. Turn the suction up, cycle time goes down lower. So it's suctioning less frequently. Here you have the opportunity to perhaps keep it at a high cycle time and a high suction. I think that's a great feature. I don't particularly notice any difference with me playing with it. So I will say it's more of an advanced feature to think about. When I got this pump, I was like, what is this? How do I do this, or how do I use it? I found myself on Pinterest. So if you know that there's that inverse relationship there, it should be pretty easy for you to catch hold of. So I do think that's a pro of the pump, but just not something that I find useful for myself or I find making a difference. And the last thing that's really good about this pump is it is a closed system. So closed system along with hospital grade, those are both marketing terms. So by that, there's no like regulation or anything that has to go along with these pump manufacturers saying that. So just be aware that when you're reading like marketing material, that these are just marketing terms. So no pump is completely closed system, but what that means is that there is a protector, which is this, between your pump and the milk collection. So that's what makes it a closed system. So it is more hygienic for people to use. It's less likely that milk will get into your pump and ruin it, cause mold, so that's great. All right, now on to the list of cons. One of my least favorite things about this pump is it is bulky. So while it is not heavy, it's very bulky. So if you look at it, it kind of reminds me of like a bowling ball, y'all. I don't know why they picked this shape. It does have a handle, which is nice, but because of the footprint of it, can you imagine putting this in any bag? Like it's going to take up your entire bag. So that's one thing that I don't like is the shape of it and just overall it's bulky. If you're traveling, you gotta take this big thing with you. The next thing that I really don't like about it is the bottle store kit. So it's not really the pump, but just the parts that it comes with. I sat in my car for literally 15 minutes trying to get this cap and this and my milk to close and not spill. So even with this cap, my milk was spilling out. So I would say if you're going to use a storage for your milk, I would not use what it comes with. I would use Medela. Medela, hands down, has the best storage products on the market, point blank, period, in the story. Like, they're the best. So I just wouldn't use this. It's not a deal breaker, but I just don't like it. The next 3 cons on my list are really cons for me. Some people might feel the same, some people might feel differently. The first thing that I hate about this pump is the memory function. Me and my friend joke around and say that a man made that functionality. So if you remember when I was talking about the memory functionality, what it does is it says, hey, whatever last setting you were on, when you start the pump back again, that's the setting it will be at. Well, when you use a breast pump, you typically work your way up to the highest settings. So when you turn back on your pump again, this breast pump is waiting to yank the living life out of your nipples. So you have to either remember to turn it back down before it turns off, or before you hook it up, turn it down. It's gotten me a couple of times. So I absolutely hate that feature. It takes 2 seconds to turn up a pump. I don't need you to remember it for me. So that's a con for me, personally, something I hate, but some people might love it. The next thing that I don't really like is that it doesn't automatically switch from expression to stimulation mode. So my Medela Pisa does this. And the reason why I don't like it is because sometimes I get busy and I don't forget. Again, not a big deal, not a huge con, but there are times where I'll be at work and I'll be working on something and I'm like, dang, I didn't switch to expression mode. And obviously the expression mode is going to draw out that milk better than staying in stimulation mode. So it's just kind of like me not paying attention and just wanting the job done for me. And then the last thing that I don't really like, again, not a huge issue, but the way you turn it into a single pump is by disconnecting this and putting this knob on. So a lot of pumps, that is how you make it into a single pump. So it's not unique to the Spectra. The Baby Buddha has come up with a better way to do that by just switching a tab. So it's a con for me. If you want a single pump, it's easier to do it with other pumps, but that's usually not a thing. People are usually wanting to pump both sides. So again, not a huge con, but just a con for me. So that is my review on the Spectra S2. A lot of moms like it, enjoy it. I definitely like it. I would definitely recommend it. It's a solid pump to have in your arsenal. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.